Taoiseach, this is the final opportunity I'll have to ask you questions before the dole rises for the recess. So I want to ask you about housing, because the dole might be going into recess for 2 months, but there'll be no break in the number of evictions. There'll be no break in the number of notices to quit that are sent. No break in the number of men, women and children that are made homeless every day. No break in the stress for people who are currently wondering how they can continue to keep a roof over their head and pay record rents in the middle of a cost of living crisis. There'll be no break for the hundreds and thousands of young people who are wondering when they'll be able to afford to move out of their parents' homes. No break from the fear, anxiety and trauma that comes with being affected from this housing crisis. Taoiseach, people are living with constant dread and fear because of government failures on housing. We have record rents, record house prices, record levels of homelessness and record levels of young adults living in their childhood bedrooms. It doesn't have to be like this. There are things you could be doing differently. The very first thing you could do is reinstate the no-fault eviction ban and at least try to ensure that no one else becomes homeless this year. Secondly, you could be doing so much more to tackle the enormous levels of vacancy. In every single town, village and city across the country, there are boarded up and vacant homes. And to feign an attempt to address this, our government introduced a vacancy tax this year, but set it at just 0.1% of the value of a home. It's pathetic. You could immediately increase that too. Taoiseach said then there is the issue of delivering affordable homes. You only managed 323 affordable homes out of a target of 4,000 last year. As you know, affordable homes are key to addressing this crisis, and we know that it can be done. We know the O'Quailon Housing Co-Alliance has an excellent track record, but they haven't given the support that they need to really ramp up supply. Taoiseach, I have 3 questions. In the Housing for All progress report this week, there was no mention of how many affordable homes have been delivered this year. Why not, and what is the figure? You failed to spend £1 billion of the housing budget last year. Will you manage to spend this year's budget? Homelessness has relentlessly increased for 16 of the past 17 months. Homelessness has relentlessly increased. It has increased 16 out of the last 17 months. Will you reinstate the no-fault eviction ban?
With respect to the Deputy, I think you've been very short in terms of the housing supply side, in terms of proposals or options. You haven't put anything forward. And there will be no break in house building. And there are record levels of house building going on right now. And if you had read the progress report, that was very clear. 30,000 houses last year built. That's a 45% increase in 2021. Now, I think we need balance in the debate, and I would respectfully ask that at least there be some acknowledgement of progress in respect to house building and supply. This year, 25,000 first-time buyers drew down mortgages in 2022. That's the highest number since 2008. There were 6,716 new dwelling completions in Q1. So we're having record levels of completion, record levels of commencements. That's 20% nearly, or 19% up on Q1 of 2022. In the year to April of 2023, some 50,000 homes were purchased by households. And of those, 17,000 were purchased by first-time buyers. In 2023, there's been a strong uptick in commencements. 28,000 homes were commenced in the year to May 2023. 13,000 of those from January to May. That's the highest level of commencements for this period since records began in 2014. And the government will continue to implement different measures. In social housing, for example, which you didn't reference at all, we've seen the highest level of delivery since 1975. Over 10,000 social homes delivered. That's between new builds, acquisitions and leasing. And if you take housing assistance payment and rental accommodation, that's 20,000 additional households had their social housing needs met in 2022. And there's a strong pipeline of about 19,000 social homes, either on-site or at design and tender stage. And again, in 2023, where funding is in place to deliver nearly 12,000 social homes, including 9,100 new build homes. So 26,000 social homes have been added to the social housing stock since this government, or under this government, up to Q4 of last year. And that's very significant progress. And in terms of the first-time buyer support, which you perhaps don't agree with, the Help to Buy scheme and the first home schemes, they're having a real impact on the affordability for young people to be in a position to buy homes. 38,000 first-time buyers have now been assisted under the Help to Buy scheme, and the evidence is strong. In terms of cost rental, there's been very significant development. It's a new model in essence. 700 cost rental homes were delivered in 22. The new cost rent subsidy will now improve viability of apartment development in urban areas and deliver more cost rental homes. In terms of the eviction ban, our view is that would have made the situation worse in the rental market. And the intervention in terms of the various initiatives that the Minister has taken and the in situ scheme in particular has been very impactful.
Thank you, Taoiseach.
In terms of the numbers who are facing eviction, but where the local authorities are now in the process of buying the houses for the tenants so that they can stay there.
Deputy Holly Curran.
Taoiseach, it's not a surprise that you reject my criticisms of housing, and I think we're all used to witnessing this kind of denial from government now. But to say that I haven't given any solutions is something that we just hear on such a regular basis. And obviously, in a leader's slot, I can't give every single solution to the housing crisis. But in that contribution alone, I mentioned 3 things that could be done: on vacancy, on the eviction ban, and on affordable homes. So it's clear you'll never listen to opposition on these issues, or you'll only highlight something that hasn't been mentioned in the short slot that I have. But what do you have to say, for example, to IBEC? Because they can hardly be described as government critics or housing activists or some kind of left-wing firebrands. And yet housing is now one of their main concerns. They say the state is losing out on new investment and new business because of housing constraints. So in other words, there is nowhere for workers to live. IBEC, as a business lobby group, are highlighting the concerns of businesses. But unfortunately, there is no lobby group for children growing up in homelessness, or for young adults living in their childhood bedrooms, or for families who've lost hope of ever owning a modest home. Is that why they're so far down on government priority lists? Taoiseach, you've claimed that we've turned a corner on housing. Everything from your speech there would swear that everything is rosy. Does that mean for the first time that you'll actually deliver your targets on affordable homes? Does it mean you'll spend your budget? Or what on earth does it actually mean for people who are looking at a nose to quit, who are facing homelessness, who are stuck in their childhood bedrooms?
Well, Deputy, the most effective advocates for housing should be in this House. No one should be depending on any lobby group. I don't depend on IBEC to tell me that housing is the biggest crisis in this country. I've said it from day one since I came into government. Coming into government, I was adamant that a member of our party would become the housing minister, to take on the challenge, to build greater progress. We've reached our target. We have exceeded our target in terms of house building, but it's not enough. It's not enough. We need more housing. And the problem is, I would respectfully suggest that the propositions you bring would actually reduce the supply. That's the challenge. All of your approach over the last 2.5 years, not with your party now, over the last 2.5 years, has been against measures that would increase supply and has been about the introduction of measures that would reduce supply. And that's a fundamental problem in terms of your policy proposition. We are committed to social housing, affordable housing, and on the vacancy, you know the Crecone grants have been increased from 50,000 to 70,000, and the new revolving fund of 150 million. So for the first time in a long time, there's a very focused, targeted and well-resourced programme on vacancy and dereliction. At least acknowledge that.
Thank you,
but there we are.